Let's do the greatest birthday gift of all, which is cast some StarCraft 2. To the top left hand. I didn't tweet about this. Fuck. I'll tweet about this in a moment. To the top left hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Expert. It is Scarlett.
And her opponent, spine down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The man who taught Neve how to win Kespa Cup. He is a god, he is a legend, and he is MCanning.
You know what happens if you say MCanning backwards?
No.
You end up saying Gunin Nakam.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
What do you think was going to happen if you said it backwards?
I don't know. The leprechaun shows up.
How does it feel, Rafi, to be played? The leprechaun. Yeah, this was why he attempted trolling you back. Just give me something here, please. Please.
You were about as equally successful as my attempts. Oh, God. For those who don't know too much about MCanning, he is someone who considers himself a streamer first, a player second, and that's actually contrary to most other players of like around his level. Most people tend to say, well, yeah, no, I'm a player first. I stream because it's fun and, you know, it makes good income. MCanning is like, he's the player that multiple times has come out and said, if I had to choose between like ever being a player or a streamer, like I will choose being a streamer. I'm always going to be a streamer first. So it's always really cool to see when he's actually doing very well.
And he does very well a lot, to be fair. He does very well a lot of the time. He has a pretty solid kind of a solid resume of kind of success now. You know, he had a lot of Challenger performances last year, qualified a few times. He's had some good games in Challenger as well. He's actually always one of my favorite players to follow in these NA kind of qualifiers. I think it was like an NA Katowice qualifier last year that I casted of him, and he took down like Jachi in the first round. It was like so hype. It was so sick.
Yeah, he's had periods of time where he has just been out of control good. Like there were periods of time where he actually broke into the top, I would say like 6 or 7 players in North America, and unfortunately he did kind of fall off again after that. But, you know, he's back on the upswing, I would say, lately. We have been watching a lot of PVZs today as well, if you followed us from the European broadcast. But now we end up seeing something that is a little bit more NA. You see the Twilight Council opening. It's not going to be just straight up into Stargate.
Yep, just going to be seeing this Resonating Glaives is starting to come on through. And we'll be seeing a whole chunk of Adepts here in these early stages, although it's actually kind of funny that... we see the Stalk on the way out behind this, because usually you kind of expect kind of more and more Adepts for now, so kind of interesting, as I guess we'll see how this continues on. Quick question from the chat, what's GameHot? So the GameHot mod is basically, well, there's a GameHot overlay, which is the overlay we use, but the GameHot mod, the WCS GameHot mod, basically makes it so that when upgrades finish, they show up on the right, workers killed shows up on the left of the screen. What else gets shown, Rafi? GameHot mod.
When drops are queued,
yeah.
and you see like a little ping on the mini
there's
map.
a little ping on the map.
There's a bunch
of
random small things.
There's probes. The little probe icon shows up when the Nexus is building a probe and stuff, for example.
Or just upgrades in general when they're researching something or building something.
Yeah, it shows.
You can actually see a little icon for it.
Yeah, I forgot that was GameHot actually. That's so funny because I don't notice that missing when I don't have GameHot on. That's kind of funny. It's so nice though to see. It does a lot of cool little things.
MCanning actually building a good number of Adepts here while he grabs his third and gets up in Immortal. I was really curious how he was going to sort of follow this up. He's actually a big fan of like a Dark Templar play, but looking at what Scarlett has been up to, she is going for like a relatively normally timed Roach Warren. She gets up a Hydra Den. Actually, I would even say the Roach Warren a little bit earlier than I would normally see.
Yeah, it's just the Rotron, I guess, to stay safe against this Twilight-based opening, something she saw early with the Overlord, and so she knows that, you know, with a Twilight coming up, it's either some sort of heavy 2-base aggression, or some sort of Adept pressure, or some sort of like Archon-based play, Archon drop, you know? And so all of those are countered by Roaches, so it makes sense to go into those as, yes, I think I've just seen it, the 5 gateways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an immortal follow-up. So kind of 2 immortals probably into a prism. There it is, queued up already actually. So into a prism, and then from there he's going to just go ahead into this kind of immortal sentry adept push. Very powerful attack from MCanning. Let's see if he can break Scarlett.
Yeah, Scarlett gonna have her Hydras coming out in fairly large numbers in just a moment's time, but MCanning has halted all pro production. Scarlett doesn't quite have vision of the third base, but she does have vision of the lack of gas geysers from MCanning over at the natural. And that alone should already be setting off a few alarm bells, and possibly why she also just stopped at 55 workers. She's not going up to like 65, 70 workers as sometimes you would do as a Zerg player, but now she sees the entire army and she knows exactly what she's up against.
Yeah, seeing the kind of lack of gas, I wonder if it would have even been worth him kind of just making a fake assimilator there. I guess he might not remember the overlords there, but it would definitely help to sell this, as we go see pushing on forwards already. Well, actually a great initial force field. Scarlett's going to come in from the back at the same time, though. The Warp Prism is something you cannot lose in this scenario, and yet here it goes down so very quickly. Well, so far the Hydras are not having a great time fighting this, but I think eventually just reinforcements, etc. will come through and clean this out, and actually doesn't even need the reinforcements. And picking off the Warp Prism is just such a huge part of this, it really is. And that's going to be GG. Scarlett picks up game 1 with the defense.
A little bit unfortunate there for him.
And that doesn't mean you have endless force fields, it means you have kind of 1-2 waves of force fields. But obviously those died away and had to use a lot of them fast. And obviously the Prism again was really the big thing that we saw in the end, but just theorizing a little bit about if maybe the Prism had stayed alive, what he could have done.
Alright. Well, still no surprise that this player down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map is going to be up 1-0. Her name is Scarlett. Team expert.
Yeah. To the top left-hand side, our Blue Brawlers player is MCanning. The god himself, the legend. I once subscribed to MCanning.
Once subscribed? You're not part of the McCann fam?
Yeah, I once subscribed and I've been subscribed ever since.
Oh, okay.
Hey, got you. Got you, Rav.
Wow.
It's 2 in a row for me. You're letting your guard down.
That's because I am focused on North American stuff.
I see. So it's fine for you to troll me when I'm focused on things, but when I troll you when you're focused on something,
it's pretty unprofessional
cool.
of you. I'm not gonna lie.
What? God damn it. Alright, well.
Happy birthday, Wardy. Oh, the cheese!
He did this in the last game as well.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
He does it because there was one time that he did it, and a Zerg player legitimately thought they started scouting around the edges of their base, and they actually. So he threw down. He was like, I think they think I'm actually choosing him right now. So then he threw down a pylon at the top of the ramp, and the Zerg player canceled their natural.
Oh no!
And pulled all their workers, and then realized because their overlord finally got to his side of the map. He was like, wait a sec. You were just playing normal. Oh god. So now he does that every game.
I mean, why not? It's kind of fun. I like it. Throwing down the cheese. It's I like it. I like the little sprays actually. It's one of my favorite things I think out of one of my favorite things they've added in lately in the last year or so. What was it? It's been a more recent addition,
my only
right?
desire is that units that weren't just workers could place them, because I think that is the biggest loss, is that you can't place them later on in the game, because very rarely do you actually have a worker with your army the later part.
Well, that's what makes it so magical if it does come down later game.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. but yeah, right, it has absolutely no place in the later stages. It would be maybe fun if it was. There is an adaptable shade forwards here from MCanning. Gonna head on towards the bottom right hand side of the map and see what will be happening here in the next few moments. Queen at the front from Scarlett, and we'll be able to poke away at the Adept, as obviously the Adept just wants to pick up some information. Probably won't commit in towards a mineral line, probably doesn't want to truly commit for that.
But okay, this is going to be the more typical PvZ opening in a lot of the rest of the scene for Europe and stuff, so MCanning, I mean, he used to be a player that I think a lot of people would just say, oh yeah, he's always about the disruptors, and ever since he's divorced the disruptors, people are like, oh yeah, of course he's doing other things, but he is actually a player that would go for things outside of just the robo openings and the disruptor play. He actually was a player that you'd see go for some of the Stargate openings as well. So he is relatively well experienced with like the Oracle openings, and I'm not expecting him to miscontrol it or anything like that super early on.
Is that a Fear Dragon Curse right there?
No, can you not propagate this? Okay, there is no Fear Dragon Curse.
The official, you're right. There is no Fear Dragon Curse for an Oracle being miscontrolled when he said it was going to be fine. Because the Fear Dragon Curse is when you predict an NA player to do well and they get absolutely destroyed in the next round of competition they play.
It's
my favorite.
Excuse me.
It's my favorite.
Excuse me.
It's my absolute favorite. It's great.
Look at this beautiful control from the Oracle. Survives with
so
exactly
nearly died.
It is calculated on leaving at the exact precise moment.
I was so ready for it to take one final hit and just disappear. I was so ready.
I would have hung up. I would have left.
Okay, thanks for watching, guys. This is my NA qualifier summarized.
I don't want to talk about these players anymore in a way that may make them do poorly.
Oh, well, MCanning's follow-up here is going to be that Templar Archives, but the Twilight Council hasn't even started the charge yet, so it's a very fast Templar Archives. You know, this almost makes me feel as though this is going to be like a Storm upgrade and like a Storm drop, which obviously sounds kind of ridiculous, but hey, you never know. It's not impossible. Yeah, something that Zest has done a little bit now and then.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't hate something like that all that much. We also got a Forge, now starting up. Getting some of those upgrades definitely going to be pretty important if he's trying to go into that big power tech play. But where is MCanning going to start using this? He's getting out the 4 High Templars. I imagine at least the first 4 are going to be for the Archons to do some harassment with the War Prism, and yeah, there it is.
Yep. Nah, just surprised by the lack of charges. All I was kind of. I mean, obviously the Archon drops is super standard. I actually honestly didn't realize he had a Prism out. I thought he was just making the Observer first. So my bad on that one, as we do see the Bane and Nesters dropping down here from Scarlett. Pretty much been about halfway done.
Alright. Nice little bit of harassment. Gets 4 workers, definitely not too bad so far. But the Hydras really do make this a lot harder to make work in like the same way you'd oftentimes hope for the War Prism. Doing a nice job controlling it. Holy cow, he actually even manages to kill off a few of those, or one of the Hydras, and get out of there alive with both Archons and the War Prism.
Going into the Storm behind it, but Scarlett, she is just making Ling Hydra now. I mean, she's on 57 workers, which is the same as the Protoss at the moment. But if she doesn't make any more drones, obviously this starts to look very, very aggressive. And right now, we're currently at, well, Bane and Nest is up, so she will be able to add in some Banes, but looks as though it is definitely kind of the aggressive kind of Ling Bane Hydra attack, rather than the, okay, let's take some upgrades, let's macro up, and let's kind of go from here, as we do have the, all units continue to set up just on the 3rd base, a couple of Archons, some High Templar, and Immortal as well, but there's so much from Scarlett, currently 74 to 34 army supply. She is already moving across over to this left-hand side.
Alright, this is going to be the big scary moment. MCanning sees all of these units flooding on in with the Phoenix, which actually is just completely ignored. Scarlett knows it is all about moving in a time. Oh my god, that Baneling! Well, just getting caught in a stasis trap, and Storm finished up. Not the most amazing Storm, attacking the huge number of the Hydras, stopping them up. But, oh god, there's just not enough firepower behind it.
These Hydras just keep on coming back in, and we're just going to be seeing these, well, just the Hydras in general are just so powerful here. And MCanning was really just missing enough units to do anything with. He warps in a couple of Zealots into the main base, which is nice. You can actually get some damage done with that. But again, does it make up for what is so much damage being dealt over on this side of the map? Hydra is now going to close the distance onto the Immortals. And, well, the Immortals can't even go towards the Stasis Sword. And MCanning will find himself dropping the first series of the day for himself. Scarlett will move.